Hi, it's Jeff again, continuing my video series, my video journal as an apprentice of the recording connection. This lesson 4, I was introduced to the various kinds of microphones that are used in the recording studio, as well as in other settings. I learned about 3 most commonly used microphones in the studio, which are the dynamic moving coil mic, dynamic ribbon, and condenser mics. I learned what these mics differences are, how they function differently, and how they are used for different purposes. Perhaps just as importantly, I also learned about the different directional patterns of these microphones. That is, the area of sensitivity around the microphone where sounds are best picked up. Different microphones have different sensitivity patterns. Some are able to change the pickup pattern with a flip of a switch, depending on what kind of mic you have. Omnidirectional microphones, for example, will pick up a sound from all directions, while bidirectional, or as we call them, figure-8 mics, will receive sound from both the front and the back of the mic, generally ignoring the sides. Perhaps the most common pattern that you find among microphones is cardioid, which is a heart-shaped pattern that extends out from the microphone to the front and somewhat on the sides, but ignores the rear. Cardioid patterns can also vary in shape. Some take a more narrow pattern, closer and closer to the front of the mic, and they usually call these supercardioid or hypercardioid or ultracardioid mics, depending on how narrow the pattern is. Anyway, all of these mics can be used for different purposes: to capture all of the sound in the room, or to isolate different sounds from one another, just depending on what your situation calls for. One thing that continues to be repeated in the sessions and the homework, and again right here, is that there doesn't seem to be any real rules to this, only guidelines. It seems that for most audio engineers, the rule is to do what works. In fact, my mentor, Tim, has already said repeatedly since we've begun that he has a certain way of doing things that has been through trial and error. There are things a book teaches that he actually will tell me, I do this differently. I don't necessarily agree with what this book is saying. I have found it to work better for me if I do it this way, and then he'll show me that way. But he'll also tell me, I'm breaking a rule here. I'm going off of what the book says, and I'm saying this is what I want to do because this is what I found works for me. Obviously, the use of microphones in the studio will be different than the use of microphones in live audio. The curriculum will spend some time talking about the different ways to capture and or record audio in a live performance setting, which is a completely different situation and setup, because obviously in live you only get one shot to get it right. So that was an interesting thing, extra a bit to pick up from the homework as well. So I've had my introduction to microphones, and I'm looking forward to the next lesson.